Good morning, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving. Good morning. Hello. So, my name's DJ Huge Problem, and this is Lullabies for Cthulhu. Normally, your fine purveyor of J-pop, J-rock, J-indie, J-electro, etc. All sorts of great music from Japan. But this week, we're bringing you something very special. We are bringing you a live role-playing of Call of Cthulhu. We are playing on the air the Crook'd Manse from the Mansions of Madness expansion by Chaosium. It was first played in 1984 and published in Multiverse issue number 3. Has been substantially revised. We're playing from the second edition version from the Mansions of Madness. So we have 4 excellent players in the studio, and let's introduce them. Hello, players. Players, can you please repeat that?
Hello. Hey, what's up?
Hi.
How's it going, Keeper?
Very well. Thank you guys for joining us here.
I'm very thankful for the opportunity to play.
Yes.
Super stoked to be on the air.
Why don't you guys go around and introduce yourselves and your characters?
Well, my name is DJ Nezumi. You may hear me every week on KSFR 101.1 FM, Lullabies for Cthulhu. Tonight, I am not the Keeper of Arcane Lore. I am playing one Chester Wallace, an author from Birmingham.
I'm Ruggo. Occasionally you can hear me on KSFR's Lullaby for Cthulhu. I am the random keeper of trivia. Tonight I am playing Thomas Allen Schifrath.
Hello, I am Stephen Bohannon, runner of The Game Thing, a weekly meetup group where we get together and play board games, happening at Big Adventure Comics every Monday. I will be playing Adesh Tarendra. He is a professor of archaeology with a specialty in cosmology. He has played in 2 previous encounters, neither of which went exceptionally well, though he did escape with his life. He has uncovered some arcane secrets and is back on the scene to explore them further.
And I am Joseph Pinkerton. You have never heard me before on Lullabies for Cthulhu, and I am tonight playing Brandon Sullivan.
Excellent. Thank you, old friends and newcomers alike over there in the studio. Now, if you're not familiar, you're just tuning in for the first time to hear us play, or you've never played a role-playing game before, this is a die-based system. It's what's called a D100-based system. You will be hearing us roll dice to make decisions and to figure out what happens here in the game. We will be presenting you a very faithful role-playing session. Thank you for tuning in. We hope that's exciting. Let's get started, shall we, investigators?
Let's
do it. So, Brandon, you're a private investigator, aren't you?
I am a private investigator.
You are indeed, and you are well known through New England. You are based out of Arkham, that's correct?
It is.
Arkham, Massachusetts. One day in February, a cold, wintry day, as you typically have during that month in Arkham, in February 1925, you receive a letter from the Dodge brothers, who are attorneys at law. The letter is from Gamwell, Connecticut. It's dated January 30th, 1925. It's well typed and written directly to you. What do you do with this letter?
I'm going to read it and ascertain the contents.
Excellent decision. So, it reads as follows. Dear Mr. Sullivan, I have been referred to you by a mutual friend. As his attorney, I am very interested in locating the missing Mr. Arthur Quenthwaite. And our associate mentioned your name as being one skilled in locating missing people, particularly those of Mr. Quenthwaite's persuasion. Thus I have taken the liberty of contacting you. I am a partner of an established legal firm in Gamwell, the Dodge Brothers. Mr. Arthur Quenthwaite is one of our clients, and as his attorneys we hold certain documents in trust for him. It would appear that Mr. Quenthwaite has departed without notifying us of his movements. This leaves us in a quandary as to how to manage his estate in his absence without his authority in such matters. We would like you to locate Mr. Quenthwaite and obtain from him his wishes in respect of this matter, or better still, request that he contact us directly. If it should, heaven forbid, transpire that Mr. Quenthwaite is no longer with us, then we will need some evidence of the same to proceed with his wishes as outlined in his last will and testament. Hopefully this is an unnecessary contingency, but one which we must nevertheless consider in the light of Mr. Quenthwaite's mysterious departure. I hope that you are free to give this matter your immediate attention, and would like to extend an invitation to you to attend an interview at our offices as soon as it is convenient, to discuss both the details of the situation and your professional fees. Anticipating a prompt reply, yours faithfully, Walter Dodge, Esquire. Enclosed in this letter is an article from the Gamwell Gazette. It reads as follows. Gamwell millionaire absent. Gamwell's most prosperous son, Arthur Quenthwaite, will not be seen at church over the next few weeks. Mr. Quenthwaite has apparently left the area for a time, possibly for a vacation, or in relation to his numerous studies. Some mystery surrounds Mr. Quenthwaite's departure, as it came without notice. However, an inspection of his mansion and grounds by Sheriff Whitford has revealed no cause for alarm. The last person to speak to Mr. Quenthwaite was his attorney, Mr. Walter Dodge, on the 7th of this month. At that time he gave no indication of his immediate departure, but according to Mr. Dodge he did seem quite preoccupied, no doubt with his travel plans. We all know well that besides being a Gamwell landowner, Mr. Quenthwaite is also a millionaire, a scholar, a philanthropist, and an explorer, a true Renaissance man. He may well be off laying the groundwork for some future exciting expedition, or perhaps just relaxing for a time in New York City. Gamwell citizens will no doubt remember fondly Mr. Quenthwaite's numerous generous donations to local charities and to the town library, and join with us in wishing him a safe and happy journey and a safe trip home. It's from the Gamwell Gazette, January 17th, 1925. So that's what's in the letter, Brandon.
Looks like I'm going to be taking a trip up to Gamwell.
It's a smart move. There's a train leaving tonight for Gamwell, of all places, and you hop on the train and get there in the morning. Now, once you're in Gamwell, it's morning time. It's kind of a sleepy city. There's not much really here. There's it's kind of an out of the way place, mostly farmland.
I'm
What
going
is
to
your first thing?
I'm going to go ahead and try and locate the Dodge Brothers office and see if they're open for business today.
Smart move. When you're there, there's actually 3 other people there waiting to talk to the Dodge Brothers. There is one, Adesh Charendra, and 2 other literary-looking fellows there.
What do you mean he's gone missing, Walter? I saw him only 2 months ago, and he was excited about something, and he summoned me to meet him here today.
Mr. Charendra, we don't know what happened. We're currently investigating the matter. In fact, I think that may be Mr. Sullivan right now. He is our investigator.
He has the look of one.
Indeed, I am the investigator, and I think I'm going to get to the bottom of this fairly short order.
Well, Mr. Charendra, may I introduce Mr. Sullivan, P.I., and one of the best in New England, so I've heard.
Mr. Sullivan, pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Adesh Charindra. I'm a professor.
In kind, good sir. Mr. Trendra.
Mr. Trendra is an old friend of Mr. Cornthwaite and has been very desirous of seeing him lately, given his sudden disappearance. Now, these other gentlemen I'm not familiar with.
Well, Dodge, I think you should make yourselves familiar with us, as we do have a writ here from Cornthwaite saying that he is more than willing to share his notes regarding his recent trip to South America. If you are unable to furnish them to us, then you must furnish us with his location or the location of where he stores his notes, that we may proceed in writing our book.
Now, good sir, I don't take demands from strangers like that.
My name is Chester Wallace.
And I'm Thomas Shimprith.
And we are associates of Mr. Cornthwaite.
We are authors in the process of writing a book.
I see. Well, do you have a letter from him or some sort of introductory
Yes, I have
material?
extensive correspondence with Cornthwaite.
May I see some of it?
Absolutely. And Chester furnishes the pile of communications he has with Cornthwaite.
Okay. Well, that's quite a substantial bulk of material there. I don't think I'll be going through this today, but I do notice his signature. That is most certainly his. Very well. I am disappointed to let you know that we don't have any of his scholarly work here. We merely have some of his ledgers. Well,
he said they would be made available here, or to come to this location to acquire them.
That seems... You mean as scholarly matters?
Yes. Well,
that seems highly
our
unlikely.
Communications over the course of time suggested that we should be here sometime in the near future. That was months ago.
Well, that seems highly unlikely, because we do not deal with any of the anthropological and exploratory matter that he does. We only have his ledgers.
I need to see him.
So what we can do is, well, if you would all like to go to his place, we have keys, and you could go there, and in fact, there's plenty of room for all of you to stay there until he arrives, or to investigate where he might be.
I've been there many a time. I know my way around.
Good. You'll know that it's about 10 miles out of town.
He keeps a good brandy closet.
There are carriages that will be able to take you.
Good. A good
you'll
coach
find
service
them
is fine.
on the main street. Now, should warn you that there has not been any sighting of Mr. Cornthwaite since the 7th of the month. That was when I went to go and speak with him. And since then, he seems to have just simply vanished on one of his many trips we assumed to be the case. But we'd like to know for sure, since we've never had him gone for this long and with this kind of surprise.
Well, he should be back soon, if you would be so kind as to furnish us with the keys.
Of course, I would be more than happy to. Here is one key for the front door. Here's another key to the back door.
Excellent.
Those are the only copies that we have, so please do not lose them. We did visit ourselves, and, we didn't really do much except explore the grounds. To be quite frank, we didn't want to intrude upon Mr. Cornthwaite if he was deep in study, as he often is. But we do know that Sheriff Whitford also checked it out, and I believe he may have even entered the premises. So he said that Cornthwaite was not there. He did not go into much further detail, as he does not like going to that mansion anyways.
Why is that?
You have to ask him about that. There's a history to the Fitzgerald mansion. He knows it pretty well.
And where might we locate this sheriff?
Well, he's at the sheriff's office, of course.
Is that on the main street?
Yes. You'll
Would
find
you
it
point
easy
me
enough.
in
It's
that general direction, please?
not a very large town. We're on the main street, in fact.
So a few doors down, then.
A
is
few
what you're
doors
saying.
down. It's not a very large town, Gamwell. But it's a proud town.
Well, we shall let us take these keys from you, and let's visit our good friend the sheriff.
Okay.
Perhaps he can supply us with some more recent information.
And Mr. Dodge, while we are embarking in that, would you be so kind as to round us up a carriage service?
I'm quite busy.
Oh.
Make me a fast talk roll.
Ooh. Oh.
No.
It would appear
Crit
that
fail.
Oh, boy.
No one passed a fast talk roll to convince this mousy lawyer.
How about a credit rating?
Credit rating? He'll take a credit rating. No, actually, he won't. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I failed both anyway.
Okay. No, you'll find a carriage out there well enough on your own. You all look to be very accomplished men, so I trust you. I must get back to going through the ledgers of Mr. Cornthwaite and other clients of ours.
Well then, Mr. Dodge, I'll keep you informed of my findings.
Now, actually, that reminds me, we'll be paying you $100 to split amongst you if you are able to find Mr. Cornthwaite. And if you get back to us within the week with a solution to where he is, we'll pay you a $100 bonus. Does that sound fair to you all? Let's be split amongst all of you.
I'm not interested in money. I just want to see my friend.
Oh, very well.
the only thing important to me and my associate is getting the documents and notes from Mr. Cornthwaite's research.
And in that case, I'm doing very well with the one-way split.
Yes, I'm likewise uninterested in some sort of payout. I would prefer maybe a small modicum of courtesy from you, rather.
I believe I am giving you that courtesy.
No. Let's keep it civil. I think we have what we need. Thank you. We should proceed. I would suggest straight to the mansion. I don't need to talk to a sheriff about my friend, the eccentric philanthropist who may have gone off on a holiday. It's nothing is out of sorts, it seems to me. Why not just go to his mansion and wait for him there?
Yes, I suppose I agree. Sheriff's offices are depressing places to be.
Well, as you wish. But just let me know when you find something, yes?
Of course.
Okay.
You will be the fifth to know.
Good. Then, so there are some other buildings in case you're interested. There's a boarding house in Gamwell, a town hall, a police station, a fire station, an attorney's office, a newspaper office, a town library, and sundry shops. But if you want to go straight to the mansion, there's a carriage waiting outside for a few travelers. That might be you.
If there's an attorney's office, I'd like to see if Cornthwaite has any other family in town.
The attorney's office is actually Dodge's office. You are in it.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry. And Walter Dodge, when you ask that question, will say, no, he is quite a solitary man, and he came here some years ago and bought the house, and rarely ever had any family to speak of that we knew of, at least.
So no will with you then?
Oh, the will is a private matter.
As you
Ethics
like.
prevent us from discussing it.
Let's to the manor then.
Before we leave, does Mr. Cornthwaite's estate have a telephone in case we need to ring back to the town for, say, transit back or something like that?
Make me a luck roll. No, I'm afraid that Gamwell has not quite had the blessings of Marconi yet here in this town. So we will you'll have to travel to us on foot, or have a farmer send you back on one of his tractors.
I was hoping more for the blessings of Bell than Marconi in this case.
Oh, whatever. I'm not a scientist.
Well, surely not all of us arrived on the train. Perhaps one of us drove here.
Make me a luck roll.
Ot 5 should do it.
37.
It is
5.
Adis Charendra has a Model T.
Of course, yes. That's what do you take me for? A peasant?
He's a pampered man of high taste and class.
Yes, just hop
So
in.
pampered.
We'll have a jaunt over there now.
What can I say? I left mine in Arkham.
Okay. As you hop into Adis Charendra's Model T, you do see a man in a sheriff's uniform eyeing you suspiciously from the window of the police station.
I will salute him with my cane and continue on my way.
You can tell that he scowls at you from within the window.
I add a small flourish to my salute.
He pulls down the shade in disgust.
Well, let's continue on to the manse.
All right. Sounds good to me.
This way.
Ah, the wind in my hair. My goodness, this can do a what? A brisk 35, it seems.
There is actually quite a wind. It's a very
I've made some
chill wind.
modifications.
A very chill wind. Well, good thing I'm wearing a coat.
So this house is situated about 10 miles out of Gamwell. It's a rather pastoral district. There's lots of farmland, as the Dodge brothers suggested. You notice that the house, as you near the house, black and gray clouds scut across the sky, and the chill wind picks up as you near. You pass by numerous other large mansions and some farmhouses. There are people working the land outside of them.
Well, we are well on our way.
You are on
not?
your way. You are on your way. You pass by the farmers as they look up and eye you somewhat suspiciously as well.
I shall wave.
They do not wave back. One, in fact, goes inside as he sees you approach.
Adesh, if you could, please stop hitting every single pothole. I believe these commoners are thinking that we're making obscene gestures at them, rather than the friendly waves that we are currently making.
This has always been a suspicious town. Every time I come here, I get this weird, oily feeling. It's like some strange distrust. They most certainly distrust technology, as I have seen. I have never had anyone wave or smile at me while driving through this town. There's a reason that our friend Arthur does not embrace technology and does not have a telephone. It's endemic in this place. Always strange.
So backwards.
They seem to be the same with guests, tourists and foreigners, like ourselves.
Resilient to anything new, one might say.
At least they don't have the Innsmouth look about them.
Well, there is that.
Oh, it would be an interesting and welcome variety to the scowls that I'm seeing here.
So, it gets darker as you near the manse. And as you pull up, you see that there's an iron gate surrounding it, and it's padlocked quite securely.
Well, I imagine we were given a key for this as well.
You check.
Front and back door keys to the Fitzgerald mansion.
Make me an idea roll.
3.
35. I'm good.
Those dunderheads forgot to give you a key to the iron gate padlock.
Well, let's see if I can locksmith this baby.
Make me a half-chance mechanical repair. Oh, do you have locksmith?
I do.
Yeah, make me a locksmith roll.
And I fail with a 97.
Okay. Someone else can make me a mechanical repair
I got
roll.
the locksmith roll.
You do?
I do. And did.
Excellent.
Well done, Mr. Sullivan.
So you are able to
Mr. Sullivan.
pull out some hairpins,
Use of those skills.
and you're able to turn the tumbler on the padlock. It clicks open, and you feel a brief breeze of victory and triumph. You've solved the first puzzle of this mystery. Well done. But a long driveway leading up to the mansion awaits you as you push open the iron gate.
At least it's not full dark.
I'll pull through, close it behind me.
Excellent. As you pull up to the mansion, you notice on the left that there's paths leading to a overgrown and sprawling garden that features plants that you've rarely seen in this part of the country, certainly not for New England. There are willows, and there are strange, might be orchids, but you're not quite sure, growing all around.
Outdoors, orchids, in this weather.
Strange,
My
right?
goodness.
It seems almost swampy over there. There's this kind of oozing miasma that wafts over the driveway from the garden. It's heavy, a little bit treacly and sweet. Off to the right, there is... Oh, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Yes, I think I'd like to photograph these strange plants. I'm going to make a note of that.
You brought a camera with you.
Yes.
Make me a photography roll.
I will try again when the light is better tomorrow.
Sounds good. It is a little bit dark.
Indeed.
There's really no sunlight to speak of at this point.
Yes.
Besides what's filtering through the gray clouds. Off to the right, there is mostly trees. Make me a spot hidden.
Success.
Okay.
Failure.
It's quite overgrown, but you do see the house ahead. Make me another spot hidden, anyone who succeeded.
Failure.
Failure as well.
Failures all around?
Oh, we've spotted the house at least.
You spotted the house. You think there might be something else off to the trees on the right. It's a wide property. It's 20 acres, in fact. So, you draw closer to the mansion. It's silent and shuttered, and there's something very strange about it. Parts of the plaster molding on the outside seems cracked. Some bits are falling off. Make me another spot hidden roll.
Hades, was it in such disrepair the last time you visited?
No, I haven't seen it like this before.
Failure.
And when was the last time you were here?
It must have been a couple years back.
Anyone who noticed a spot hidden, or made their spot hidden, notices that there's something kind of wet around the outside, but it hasn't rained recently here in Gamwell.
When you say around the outside, do you mean on the walls or just around the base?
Yes, it's kind of slick looking. All over.
Well, even if it hadn't rained, perhaps it was misty.
Look at that.
Now,
There's some sort of odd
yes.
moisture on the exterior of this house.
you all do notice it.
I didn't see that one first. Interesting.
Curious.
Disgusting.
I doubt it pertains to our task at hand.
Indeed. We're
Almost
not going to
certainly
find
not.
Arthur in the dew that is clinging to his home.
No, but the shutters, that is telling of some longer departure.
A man gone for 18 days is generally either dead or out of state.
Could be.
Perhaps he has a mistress in New York.
Everyone make me an idea roll.
Success.
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 You all, as you're looking at it, as you're getting out of the car, it's compelling. You can't really take your eyes off the mansion, because you notice that it seems slightly skewed. Off to the right, everything seems off by a little bit.
Odd. Let's contemplate this for a moment. This skewedness of this home.
We need to take a break in order to play some spots here. We'll be right back.
Rode this straight at the...
Hi guys, we're back.
And we have returned. Yeah, such an odd state for a house to be in. As you say, you visited it so recently, Adesh, that to have fallen in such disrepair.
Over a course of less than 2 years, surely it was. I think it. Yeah, Adesh will make an attempt to understand the geology that the house is sitting on. See if fault lines run through this area.
Sounds good.
He fails miserably to recall the strata in this area of the country.
How miserably?
83 against a 21. So
you are simply unfamiliar with the specific geological formations around here. It's rather flat. You don't think it's that terribly interesting?
Might I roll a history to see perhaps if there are any unusual earthquakes in the area recently?
Do you have... Yeah, make me a history roll, but at like a minus 50, because you're not familiar with this area.
Alright. I fail.
Okay.
I would like to go up and examine the moist substance that is clinging to the side of this house.
Certainly. And Adesh, as you look over to the left, the garden, make me a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Nope, missed it by 20.
It's just oddly overgrown. Now, I'm sorry, Rogo, what is your character's name again? Simprith?
Thomas Allen Simprith.
Simprith. Okay, Thomas Simprith. So, Thomas, you...
I do have quite some chemistry training.
Make me a chemistry roll.
Yes, quite successful.
Quite successful. You go up and touch this weird moisture. Seems like dew, maybe a little bit more slimy, but you really can't tell what it might be composed of without taking it into a laboratory.
Well, I will take the front door key and see if the front door is unlocked.
As you walk up the steps, to the front door, they creak underneath of your weight.
Well, these old mansions, can't expect them to be to treat us like they were brand new, eh?
You cannot. Make me a spot hidden roll, by the way.
Impale.
Impale. You certainly notice actually two things, because you impaled it. You notice that there's a shed that you passed, just past the trees, off to the right of the driveway as you were coming in. And you also notice that there is a hatch, not very far from the stairs, that seems to be going towards the cellar. Okay. There's a hole in it where vines are crawling out from it.
Is the hatch between the house and the shed?
The hatch is attached to the house.
Oh,
the shed is not attached to the house, though.
The shed is not attached to the house.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna stay on up there with Chester to make sure nothing is disturbed before I have a chance to have a look at it.
Sounds good. Now, you begin to unlock the door, I'm imagining, Chester?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Well, I'm going to see if it's even locked in the first place.
Okay. You all have some belongings since you plan to be staying here. They're all in your car, of course. Clothes and some sundries and whatnot. So you will probably want to move those in as well, since you'll be staying here.
Well, since my writing partner Chester is opening the house, I shall go ahead and grab our luggage that I can easily manage myself.
Yes, all in due time. One must get the door open before one brings items through the portal.
Of course. Sounds great. Now, as you enter the house, there's just a musty and mildewy smell pervading everything that just washes over you as soon as you walk inside. It's a little bit disgusting.
Well, no wonder Cornthwaite couldn't stand to be here. He's grown mold.
It's deeply unsettling. And as you open up the door, a bit of plaster falls down right in front of you from some molding right above it. It's a bit startling.
This, are you quite sure that it's in good enough repair to even stay here?
I can't believe that it is fallen into such disrepair under such short time.
Mm-hmm.
He'd like to make a biology roll to see if that's even a reasonable thing. But these plants, they're they're growing at incredible speeds, but I am unfamiliar with them.
What does your biology roll say?
Biology roll says that I am very unfamiliar with these biota.
You think that these could be some tropical plants that perhaps Arthur brought back from one of his South American sojourns, and maybe they just grow at rates that you are not you cannot comprehend.
Fascinating.
However, I mean, you were born in India, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Delhi.
Oh. Yes. So, I mean, you've seen stuff like this.
Well,
some stuff like this before. Just it's amazing that it's growing here.
Especially in February.
Madness, bringing the wilds of an uncultured nation to our home.
Everyone make me an Wow. Well, does anybody take offense to that?
Uncultured nations? No, this is 1920 something. So
Okay.
5, is that correct?
Very 1925, correct. Very good. Everyone make me an idea roll.
Very successful.
A retconning.
Exceedingly successful.
Success.
Yes. Okay, so everyone who had a success remembers that Walter Dodge told you all, and your lore master forgot to tell you, that nothing is to be damaged in the mansion. They want to make sure that it is an as pristine a state as it possibly can be. During your investigations, this is. Don't destroy anything, is what they said.
The building appears to be doing a fine job of destroying itself.
That's true.
Well, that's a bit troubling, isn't it?
Well, we obviously can't be blamed for the ravages of some strange South American plant.
Yes, hopefully you won't be. When you walk inside, when you work further inside, you notice that the wallpaper is sagging in certain places. Stuff seems a bit scattered about. Pictures hang at odd angles. Furniture seems moved and dragged along the floor.
Well, I say the first thing tomorrow then, once we've gotten settled and perhaps examined some of Arthur's notes to see where he may have gone, we go to inform the Dodges that this mansion is just it's almost unlivable.
Speaking of settling in, I think I might check that brandy cabinet.
I think I may need a snifter myself.
I say, I was looking around and I did notice the furniture appears to have been dragged around.
Recently?
Is that
does.
recently? As in through the dust tracks? Through the dust there is tracks?
There's not much dust around here, actually.
Ah.
But the furniture looks moved somehow.
Yeah. It does.
Does it appear to be a recent moving of the furniture?
Make me a spot hidden roll.
Sadly, no. It does not appear that I can tell much from what I see.
Yeah, you're not really sure if it has been moved recently or not, but it's been moved at some point.
Well, I occasionally
to be
find myself, when I'm in a writing fugue state, to rearrange some of my furniture that it may represent the disordered clutter of my own mind. So perhaps that is a habit that Arthur and I both share.
As you walk further into the room, there's a door on your right. It might perhaps be a cloakroom. The hall expands into a large chamber, and there's a stairway to the top floor right in front of you. There's a hall going to the right, and hall going past the staircase. And then doors, 2 doors in the larger hall chamber.
I make a dash toward that brandy cabinet that Adesh talked about.
The brandy cabinet. So that is Between the two doors on the left, when you go in, there's a larger space that is the entrance hall proper. There's a brandy cabinet there. And you see that your friend Arthur, as you well knew, is a man of exquisite taste in brandy.
Well, I assume it has glasses in the cabinet as well as brandy.
It has everything you would like. There's a brandy that looks to be from 1911.
Well, he always said, make yourself at home. I shall.
Very good. You pour yourself a glass. The glasses are surprisingly well kept, given the condition of everything else around the house.
I'm still going to use my handkerchief to wipe out the inside of my glass.
A wise enough decision. Does everyone else take a sip? A tipple?
Absolutely.
I shall not be partaking at the moment.
Everyone make me an idea roll.
Success.
My idea was brandy.
Also a success.
Everyone who made their idea roll remembers this is during Prohibition. Arthur's a very, very naughty man.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's only illegal to sell and import.
Rural enough that he can do in public what we have to do in private.
It could be, but it's rather surprising that he kept it out so open, in the open. Perhaps he doesn't really let any people in here at all.
Well, I imagine their
or at least
town's dislike of change also carries over to dislike of new laws.
Yes. At least no teetotalers brought in. It does seem to be a rather conservative town, you noticed, but there was no saloon, for example, and you knew the boarding house had no alcohol. Mr. Cornthwaite had different ideas.
Indeed.
I shall gander around the bottom floor if I see the library.
The library, you can tell,
Our main objective.
is past an open door, just to the left of the brandy cabinet, in the hall.
Oh, lovely.
And you
Always a good combination, library and brandy.
walk right in easily enough. Library, where is it? There it is. In the library.
Let us carry our glasses into the library and see what we can see.
Yes, absolutely. Some of the most riveting conversations happened right here in this area. These lounging chairs over a good brandy.
There are, of course, many books in the library. Mr. Cornthwaite was a very learned man, and as you would expect, there's many books on exploring archaeology, history, anthropology, many of the sciences. There's a complete collection of the Quartermain, or of the Quartermain adventures. Interesting stuff like She, by the very same author. Strange and exotic tales of cultures from all around the world.
Excellent.
Indeed.
He did say we would have some things to at least look at in his library before we got to his notes.
Well, let's see if there's anything a little bit more conducive to our own research than some of this pulp.
While they're doing that, I'd like to go ahead and look around and see if he's left anything here that might point to his current whereabouts.
Well, you can make me a library use roll.
Very fail.
Success.
Anybody who succeeds can make an idea roll.
Also success.
So, you guys, you writers, knowing what you're meaning to look for, which is strange tales of tribes from South America, you begin looking for that right away. Strangely enough, despite Mr. Cornthwaite's prestigious reputation in this field, there is no book whatsoever about the South American continent.
He must have.
Interesting.
He must have another library.
Or he's taken them with him.
Well, let us.
Or he's moved them to another room of the house, a study or bed, perhaps.
Perhaps some sort of writing room.
Yes.
Or but let us perhaps examine his personal quarters. I'm guessing they're upstairs.
That's correct.
As you do go through the books, you notice a few of them seem to fall apart in your hands from moisture damage.
Oh, this is horrible.
Some
Terrible
of them
shame
have
to
been-
lose these tomes.
Yeah, some seem to be quite valuable. As you're all leaving, though, make me a spot hidden roll.
Adesh does not see
No one made a
anything.
success?
No,
Nope.
None.
seemingly not.
It's just tremendously unfortunate how wet some of these books are and quite damaged when they fall apart in your hands, disintegrating. Some of you shed a single tear.
It's terrible. Some of these are first editions.
Is the moisture somewhat similar to that moisture found outside?
It's very much the same.
Much as that's
How
found in the
very
entire
odd.
house.
It's like a dew from inside the house.
The house is wilting itself.
Well, I've heard of this effect happening in greenhouses. Perhaps it has to do with the vegetation.
How tremendously unusual.
Make me a biology roll, Chester.
Fail by 70.
By 70. Yeah, you're pretty sure that you're exactly right in saying that.
Oh, of course. I know I'm exactly right in saying it. That's why I said it.
You're deeply
I'm
convincing.
going to write it down in my journal later as well.
So,
I'd show them upstairs to his personal quarters.
you go upstairs and the stairs creak underneath of your weight. And you walk along the floorboards of the second floor. Everyone make me a listen. And if you succeed in that listen roll, make me an idea roll.
Fail.
Made the first one and the second. I have an idea.
Adesh, you've
So
been
do
here.
I.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Brandon also has heard.
Oh, okay. Both of you, and particularly you, Ada, since you have been here before, you notice that it's rather odd, but the floorboards in the lower story don't creak, despite them being very much the same floorboards, and there certainly being a basement. The top floorboards do, however, creak. And it's just as odd because you remember the floorboards creaking when you last visited. This is a very old house, so everything creaks.
Is the moisture lessened in this zone?
No, it's still fairly mildewy up here, and there's odd moisture all around, coming up through the sideboards, through the floorboards.
Things have changed
oozing.
so much since I was here last that who could even tell?
Oozing out of the wallpaper.
Indeed.
Yes, things seem to very much have changed. Little bulges form in the wallpaper where the moisture welled up the most.
I'm
Now-
going to take out a pin and prick one of the little bulges just to see if it pours out water or it's just a bulge.
It, you prick it and it's a little bit soggy, but there's no ooze that comes out of it.
Oh.
It just seems kind of weird and gross. The wallpaper seems like it shouldn't be this decrepit, and certainly not this soggy. Any reasonable landowner and maintainer of the house would have changed this long ago.
Indeed.
Clearly he has been away for some time to let the house fall into such disrepair.
On the top level, there's a balcony. You can look right down into the hall where the brandy cabinet is. And to the right, there is a door down the hall. And then there's what seems to be the master bedroom door. It's a little more ornate than the other doors. Directly in front of you seems to be a door towards the den. It's open. And the balcony continues along to the left and seems to lead into what looks like a trophy room of some kind.
I lead them to the master bedroom.
You go into the master bedroom. Oh my. This is a very well-furnished room befitting a person of Mr. Cornthwaite's prestige. There is many valuable artifacts all around from his travels, and certain very expensive-looking objects like a gold-plated cigar case, a diamond tie pin, and a very expensive-looking china vase. When you walk in, you notice immediately that the ceiling of the room is very moist. It seems to have a pool above it, but you can't really tell it's not dripping.
I'd like to recall my archaeology lore, such as to determine whether or not any of the South American items, which I know he was an elaborate collector of, are also missing in this room.
There don't seem to be any South American items, actually, in this room.
That is quite odd.
You remember they would probably be in the trophy room, where he kept his most valuable things. Some of the things here are more just for, perhaps have sentimental value to him, or more kept for their prettiness rather than their value.
Well, the archaeology check comes in as good, so anything of note I would discern in this space.
There is nothing of archaeological note here. You do notice that the china vase is of more recent vintage, but it's very pretty. There's a few odd pictures on the wall from some of his expeditions. Some of them you recognize. There's one from Egypt, there's one from Sumatra, and there's one from the Indian subcontinent as well.
So I'd like to have a look around the room and check for any missing, see if there's an empty place in the closet for shoes, clothing, this pocket watch is on the nightstand, anything like that sort that might say he has left without preparation or might still be around.
Yes, that's one of the odd things. There's plenty of clothing all around. It looks like his closet is rather full. In fact, it doesn't seem like he took anything. And everything looks like he left quite in a hurry. Of note, near the fireplace in the master bedroom, there are 9 partially disassembled shotgun cartridges. Their contents poured out into neat little piles, both the powder and the shot separated. And directly in front of the fireplace is a pair of fluffy blue men's slippers. You can make me a spot hidden. All of you.
Successful.
Adish is successful.
Also successful for Chester.
Ah, look, blue slippers.
Anyone who is successful notes that there seems to be a line of small white crystals along the bottom of the doors.
Small white crystals.
And along the windowsills. These are all points of entry to the room.
He was always so disturbed by bugs and animals. He often would lay down tracks that keep slugs out and ward off ants. I wonder if this was more of his trickery.
May I roll a cult on this?
Sure, you can make an occult roll. Thomas, you can make me a chemistry roll.
Success on occult.
6 on occult.
I believe I know what that is.
Chester, with the occult roll, you certainly have heard of stories of people placing what might be salt around areas that are points of entry, but you don't really know much about why Mr. Cornthwaite would do that. And Thomas, you quite adroitly recognize it as salt as you put your finger on it and bring it up to your mouth. It's indeed salty.
I'm not sure that that's the first method of testing I would have put myself through, but yes.
You were quite
I'm
confident.
Glad to know that it's salt.
At least it doesn't taste of almonds.
Yes. Yes.
You were quite confident that it was salt, and it ended up being correct. And of course, not having a lab around means you have to have more rudimentary methods of testing.
Well, I could tell that they were cubes for the crystals, and I was quite sure it was salt.
If you're anyone near the fireplace and checking it out, can make me a spot hidden.
Adish misses his.
Anybody successful for the fireplace?
Brandon is successful.
You notice there's a translucent stain on the mantle of the fireplace. It seems to be very similar to the other moisture stains.
Thomas has been so successful with the other ones, I'm going to direct him to that and see what he makes of it. Thomas, what do you think of this?
Similar, but slightly different, it would appear.
For chemistry or?
Chemistry.
It's very much the same.
Oh, it is very much the same, but
it's just on the stone of the mantelpiece. Of the mantelpiece. And we'd have to break again for another spot. We'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back to Lullabies for Cthulhu Special Thanksgiving Edition. I am your Keeper of the Lore, DJ Huge Problem. Normally we'll be bringing you J-pop, J-wave, wonderful music from Japan, and we will return to that next week. But tonight, true to our name, Lullabies for Cthulhu, we'll be bringing you part 2, hour 2, of a special live role-playing session of the game Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium. Tonight, we're halfway through the scenario, the Crook'd and Cracked Manse, which is featured in the second edition of the Mansions of Madness by Chaosium. We have our players here. It looks like they're all ready to go.
And yes, we are all back around this table.
We are back around this table. Players, can we just do another short introduction?
Indeed. Once again, as I stated at the beginning of this episode, my name is DJ Nezumi. You may recognize my voice from every other week where we play J-pop and talk on the radio. I'm playing tonight one Mr. Chester Wallace, who is utterly creeped out by the overall moistness of this strange, cracked and crooked manse.
And I am Stephen Bohannon, playing Adesh Tarindra, a professor of archaeology and cosmology at Miskatonic University, close friend of Arthur Cornthwaite, and a very concerned individual as to where he has gone and what he is up to.
I'm Ruggo, occasionally heard on Lullaby for Cthulhu. Tonight I'm playing Thomas Allen Shemkrith. I am a partner with Mr. Chester Wallace, as we are authors working on a book in the mysterious and mythic world of the occult.
And I am Joseph Pinkerton, playing tonight Brandon Sullivan, a private investigator, attempting to locate Arthur Cornthwaite, whose mansion we are now in, dead or alive.
Excellent. Thank you very much, players. Let's get back into it. You're in the master bedroom of the mansion that Cornthwaite lived in. An old mansion that has a long and storied history, and now is strangely unoccupied by little more than moisture and U4.
And plants.
Well, there's plants outside. Maybe in the basement.
We've noticed already that there are shotgun shells that have been disassembled and the shot and powder placed on separate piles.
That's right, in neat little piles, the powder and the shot.
Is the powder still dry?
Remarkably, yes.
Are the casings next to them?
Yes.
I would like to examine the powder to see if there's anything unique or unusual from what I can tell.
Make me a chemistry roll. It is your standard gunpowder. Do you want to taste it?
Yes.
Tastes like gunpowder.
Interesting.
Tastes like salt and peter.
Yes, I
haven't tasted Peter.
I think I'll scoop what I can of this the gunpowder into my handkerchief and twist it closed so that I know none of it will get out.
Sounds good. You do such.
I will reassemble one of the shells.
Great. You have, well, make me a, mechanical repair roll.
I thoroughly trounced the first one.
I don't know what that means.
Failure.
You fail or
I failed miserably.
Okay.
As I was loading it into the shell, unfortunately it scattered everywhere.
It scatters everywhere.
Oh well.
Yes, there goes that shell. Good thing there's 8 more, if you wanted to. Mess with
We
it.
do not.
That we don't, I believe we should move on and continue exploring the house.
There's many other rooms to explore.
Indeed. Is there an attic? Ada,
Make me an idea roll.
I haven't spent any time in the attic, but I make my idea roll.
You know that Arthur did mention that he had an attic. He never took you up there, but he pointed up to it once.
Well, perhaps that's where he's keeping some of his more private notes.
Of course, there's the den as well, which is just across the hall.
Well, let's examine the den, and of course the trophy room.
The den, the trophy room, then the attic, and if necessary, the basement.
Indeed.
If we haven't found what we're looking for by then.
Let us take a look at the den first, then.
So in the den, you see immediately, most noticeably, a shotgun hanging upon the mantelpiece, hanging above the mantelpiece. Make me a spot hidden. Anyone who made the spot hidden notices that in the grate of the fireplace there is a crumpled piece of paper.
Well, let us examine this.
Okay. You smooth out the piece of paper, and in very neat handwriting, Ada Trendra, make me a... Well, Ada, you recognize it immediately as... In fact, you all do, since you've seen his writing, except for you, Brandon. You recognize it as Arthur's writing, a little bit more hurried than usual. It reads as such, as follows. To whom it may concern, I am writing this statement in the event of my joining my staff and my expedition members in death. I, Arthur Cornthwaite, being of sound mind and body, no time for formality or legalisms. It is a thing I must tell you of. Yes, right. What is sanity when faced with this? I thought I had fled from it in that foul green place, that accursed temple. Yet somehow it has followed me here. I know the signs. There can be no mistake. It is with me. It is a thing so clever, so terrible that... Melodrama! What's the point? Notes to myself in an empty house. Whoever reads this knows or will know of it. But what you must also know is that it has a weakness so simple, so... And the O trails off in his cursive to a point. The note ends there.
Does that ring any bells with Adesh? It does not, it appears.
Well, you know that, all of you know that he went to South America recently.
That we do. Do we know what happened to the people who went on the journey with him? Was he the only survivor?
You're not aware.
Curious. Well, perhaps he brought back some illness with him.
Do we know when his last trip was?
Make me a luck roll.
Yes.
You do know, you remember reading a short blurb in the paper about Mr. Cornthwaite. You did some research before you left that said that he went on a trip down to South America. Hold on. about about 2 years ago in 1923. You don't know when he returned.
Well, gentlemen, I think he's caught something down south in the jungles.
Something that's affected his mind.
Well, then
Clearly.
he should still clearly be here. There should be some sign of him.
Could have wandered off in the night.
We found some slippers.
There are slippers. They looked very comfortable.
Indeed, we have found some sign of his decaying mental state with his disassembly of the shotgun shells and the placement of salt along the edges of his room.
Paranoid behavior, to be sure.
Indeed, possibly brought on by some fever he caught in the greenness, which I can only assume is the jungles of South America.
He said the Green Temple, didn't he?
Well, yes. I assume they have rudimentary temples in South America.
And in fact,
Rudimentary, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The place was a thriving metropolis 2,000 years ago and more.
Indeed, rudimentary temples.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Adish, you can make me an archaeology roll if you like.
Better than 50. 50 better than... Yeah.
Oh,
success.
So was that an impale?
The definition of that again?
1/5 of your skill.
No.
But you succeeded.
Yes.
You know that he did go to find some sort of the temple of a lost tribe in South America. And this tribe seemingly just disappeared after some time. After some speculate could be a great civil holy war or just the civilization dying out. There's many speculations on this, none decisive.
Do I know the name of that tribe?
You do not know the name of the tribe.
I relate this information to my friends.
Disappeared, you say? Much like Cornthwaite himself.
It's true. I hadn't put those together yet.
And as he says, what happened to his own expeditionary force? They all disappeared as well, according to his note.
Indeed.
Troubling.
It is quite troubling. Well,
I'd like to go ahead and look around the office, see if there's any notes, papers, leavings, receipts.
Nothing in the den. You think there might be in other rooms, but certainly there's plenty of places to search around here, but not the den.
Lead on, Adesh.
yes.
Very well.
To the trophy room?
I think that's a reasonable place to look next.
You walk towards the trophy room, going across the balcony, and in the trophy room, where is it? There it is. Alright. You walk into the trophy room. This room is locked, in fact.
I'd like to go ahead and try and pick that lock.
Mr. Sullivan, you were so skilled at that previously.
Oh, nice.
Very, very easily done.
You easily pick the lock.
Impaled.
Yeah, this is no trouble for you. You just kind of actually just jiggle the doorknob and do something weird with your pinky, and you just get in there. It's freaking amazing.
That's probably why I couldn't do it. I'm missing that pinky.
Yeah, right. Everyone's very, very impressed.
No,
And
you're
he says
missing
a vowel
this
at the same
pinky.
time.
Yes, indeed, I'm missing one.
And you walk in.
With an exaggerated statement of a vowel, by the chance.
You walk in, and actually as you're unlocking it, you hear a crash from inside before you open the door.
A crash?
Sound like something probably priceless breaking.
Go ahead and draw my revolver.
You draw your revolver.
Put my hand up, keep them back, and open the door
You slowly creak open the door. It groans as you patiently open it. Excellent, thank you. So, when you're in here, you immediately feel fear or feel the angry stares of strange and menacing statues from exotic places around the world, you're sure, in the trophy room, all staring at you. There's strange, large, rotund, humanoid creatures with painted red eyes. There are portraits up on the wall, painted on animal skins. You feel very uncomfortable in this room, like something's watching you. And there on the floor is what seems to be a piece of pottery, clay pottery, formerly ornate, formerly whole, that had fallen on the ground and cracked open. It seems to have been holding something at one point.
I'd like to do a quick survey of the room. Look for anybody in there. Could have knocked something over. Any reason something could have fallen?
Give me a spot hidden.
Success.
You know that it is empty, but there is a moistness around, and frankly it seems a little more recent and wet than the other moistnesses around the house.
Well, come on in, gentlemen. Doesn't seem like anybody's here. Must have been something else.
Curious.
When all of you enter, you feel unnerved by some of these artifacts. Strange ones, some even have tentacles, all staring at you.
Oh,
Unnerved, you say?
Chester, look at that.
Well, that is...
Tentacled artifacts.
that is quite the specimen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we shall have to get some photos for our book.
Absolutely. Let me see how my camera is shaping up in this light. Oh, absolutely. A lovely shot.
Okay, then you take some photographs of these artifacts. They don't blink when you take flash photographs of them.
I should hope not.
They're artifacts, dear sir.
Why would they blink?
It was a joke.
Perhaps when I examine them later, they'll have some semblance of a red eye in their dead, featureless gazes.
Is anyone looking at the vase that or the pottery that fell?
Looks like the investigator is.
Yeah. Okay. When you look through the rubbish of it, you notice on the inside that there seems to be a desiccated human liver.
On the being that was previously being held by the shattered piece of pottery.
Make me an archaeology roll, somebody.
Let me take a look at that. Oof. Too far gone.
No, okay, then you don't really recognize what this could be, but you believe it's probably related to some sort of funeral rites.
Reminds me of the Egyptians.
Yes, could be. There's other strange artifacts. There's a menacing shrunken head with wild hair staring at you from a shelf.
Ah, he has one of those shrunken heads.
There's a human skull that's painted in vivid colors with little gems for eyes, two fiery red rubies that seem to follow you wherever you go in the room. This skull in particular kind of leers at you, seeming to snicker, laughing.
Audibly?
No, but you can imagine it as you look at it.
In the depths of one's own mind.
I'm going to go over and reach out and pick it up and take a look quite carefully. How fascinating this is.
Make me a dexterity times 5 roll.
Whoops.
It crashes to the ground.
Definitely drop that.
It crashes to the ground and...
Could I leap to intervene?
Make me a dexterity times 3 roll.
Ooh, I made it.
You made it. As Thomas fumbles with this skull, seemingly maybe not aware of how heavy it actually was.
With caution, Mr. Simprith.
It slips out of his grasp, and Adesh, noticing this, dives over, deftly catching it in one hand.
Ah, thank you, Mr. Ada. You foreigners are quite impressive sometimes.
Oh, boy.
There's so many strange things in this room, and the mildew smell is very strong. But you're all getting kind of creeped out being here.
Indeed. Let's perhaps adjourn to another room.
Is there any other way out of this room?
No. That was it. It was locked. And you unlocked it.
I wonder what knocked over that pot before we came in.
Perhaps just a gust of wind.
There's no window.
From where?
They're all shuttered.
Well, these houses can be drafty.
Perhaps.
Okay.
There's a knock.
Oh.
At the door.
Curious.
I jumped in my skin.
Which door would that be?
It's presumably the front door.
The front door? Who could that be at this hour?
Best find out.
It's not that late. It's around 7.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
So the sun is down.
An absurd hour.
Yes.
Indeed. Who calls at 7 at night?
Normally supper time. Thoroughly unacceptable. Oh, well.
I'm going to go and see who that is.
You walk downstairs, down the creaky stairs.
She'll follow.
And, where is it? There it is. As you go to the door, you notice you hear another knock, and as it knocks, more plaster falls from the frame of the door down into the ground, or down onto the floor. So you walk up to the door. Are you going to open it?
Yes.
A sudden gust of wind opens it much more hurriedly than you would imagine, and you see in front of you a lone figure holding an axe. Make me a sand roll. Anyone who's there to see this.
Sanity?
Sanity roll.
All right. Let's do this.
Roll D100.
Ooh. About a 99.
Ooh.
That is about as bad as you can get.
Oh, man.
59 on a 35.
I failed by 8.
Anyone who loses, or anyone who... anyone who doesn't make SAN, lose 1 point.
1 point of sanity.
Adesh, you are particularly scared since you rolled a 99. You worry this guy is murderous. Whoever's out there, you lose 2 points of sanity.
Well.
Good heavens!
Good heavens, man. Put down the axe.
He says, hey, whoa, hey, sorry, I just found this out there in the garden. I was just wondering if anybody was home. Listen, my name's Joe. I'm a reporter for the Gamwell Gazette. My boss, Stan, sent me out here. He wanted me to check to see what you guys were doing. Figure out why these outsiders came to our town. No offense.
Gamwell has a newspaper? No
The
offense.
Gazette?
Yes, it does. The Gamwell Gazette, in print since 1888.
If I may ask, what do you print it with?
Wow, we have a printing press. Stan arranges all the letters. I do the reporting and the photography.
How droll.
What are you trying to say here?
Nothing at all. Just very interested in small towns' methods of manufacturing their own newspapers. I may read a book about it someday.
We
you
are
know
authors.
that we've been printing stuff since what, 1495 or something? Since Gutenberg?
How lovely. Well,
This ain't nothing new. We may be the small, out of the way town, but we got a newspaper. We got a post office too.
I'm gonna let me take that for you. I'm gonna reach and see if you handed me the axe. I'm gonna put that away on the shed.
Oh yeah, sure. I was wondering why I was out there in the garden. I just found it amongst a bunch of the overgrowth out there.
Might as well keep that inside with us.
Well, perhaps...
Matter of fact, I'm going to go out and pull a few of our things from the car while it's still close enough to evening.
That's, sounds like a very...
including our luggage and my shotgun.
A very valid point.
Listen, it's getting kind of late, so you guys mind if I stay here? I mean, I can sleep in, like, you know, the study or the den or something. You guys can have the bedrooms to yourselves.
Did you walk here?
Well, yeah. It's not that far.
It's 10 miles, man.
I suppose that's why the young man doesn't relish the idea of returning home on foot tonight.
It was a nice day.
We wouldn't be able to call ourselves civilized to put him back out into the cold.
I suppose not.
Now, you
Very
said
well.
you found that axe out in the garden, so you came through the garden to get here to the house.
Well, while it was still daylight out, I was checking the garden and seeing what it was like, because there's a lot of strange stuff out there. Did you guys go to it?
No, we did not as of yet.
Well,
We viewed it from afar.
Yeah, it's pretty overgrown. I mean, Mr. Cornthwaite, he had an awful lot of expertise in exotic things, and I think he brought some of it with him.
Oh, perhaps he was a disinterested gardener. That may be why he found the axe where it was, and how he's allowed all this vegetation to take such hold over his property.
Funny you should say that, because he had a gardener, actually 2 of them, and we haven't seen them for a while.
Well, that's
Maybe why it's so overgrown.
that definitely explains the disorder of the homestead.
I guess so.
Did they live locally?
Yeah. They're from around here.
Oh, and you say they disappeared? And I look around at each of you.
Well, we just hadn't seen them for a while.
Oh,
I mean,
how long is a while?
I don't know, man.
Well, you run the newspaper. Were you not working for it when they ran the story?
Make me a fast talk roll.
Or was this before 1888?
The year the National Geographic was established.
Mm-hmm.
A quality piece.
Oh, I fail.
Institution.
Listen, man, I don't know enough about that. What I do know is that these were people that he did hire from out of town, and they lived here to garden with him.
Ah, they lived on the estate.
And they were not from the town.
No, they were put up in the boarding house, actually. They didn't live here in the mansion.
Ah, excellent. Thank you.
Fair enough. Well, come in. Yes, let's
Yes, to be civilized.
come out of the cold and into the damp.
Let's just start a fire or something. How about that?
Ah, that would actually be a splendid idea.
Indeed.
You
Did you happen to see any stacks of wood outside?
Well, there's a wood
Especially
cellar.
dry wood.
There's a wood cellar.
Most houses around here have a wood cellar.
Well, let's examine that.
Why don't
then.
you take us to it if you could find it and show us where
Well,
it is?
we could go to the cellar room. We could go through the cellar. We could go out through the hatch out front.
Well, whichever is swiftest.
Huh?
Since we're at the front door, I assume you can walk us around the house to the hatch at the front.
Indeed. I think we've already spotted it. It might be that hatch with the vines growing out of it.
It is indeed that hatch. So you walk towards the hatch, and where is it? You notice that it's not locked. You can open it up.
Lovely. Then we shall do so.
Okay.
I'll grab a side and pull it open.
I will grab the other side.
So there's a wooden hatch, and inside there's a great mound of wood and sawdust, and also unusual vines and creeping plants. Someone can make me a biology or botany roll.
Not even close.
Missed by a couple percentage points.
Adesh, you're not very sure, but it doesn't... these remind you more of plants that would be found in more tropical climates. You do notice it is extraordinarily damp, almost suffocatingly mildewy and damp. Here,
does the wood look dry enough to use?
It looks passably dry.
You mentioned sawdust on the floor. Is there any evidence of termites in the wood?
Make me a spot hidden.
Success.
No. Very little, actually, surprisingly.
Let's gather up the wood then.
You do notice there's a door behind, at the far end of the wood cellar, that would open up into the general cellar.
I see. Well, let's get this wood up, and perhaps we can start a fire in the den.
Okay.
We could go through the cellar, save us a trip outside.
Oh, the front door is already open. Let's... Well, you know...
I don't want to get my boots any more wet than they are.
Yes, let's...
another thing that he was very into was wine, which would be stored in the cellar proper. So
that does actually sounds quite nice. Let us make our way through the wine cellar, as you may be calling it.
Wind our way through the cellar?
It is locked.
Well, let's see about unlocking it.
I succeed at unlocking it.
You unlock the door, but you can't open it inward. It's stuck fast with a kind of a sickly thudding sound.
Well, let's perhaps put a shoulder into it.
Yeah? Give me a...
It's an unusual thing.
Give me a strength roll.
Times 5?
Just give me a strength roll.
So I didn't even make times 5.
Times 5. Okay. What did you do?
60.
60. Okay. You thud in, and the doors kind of creak open a little bit and make me a spot hidden as he does that. Not you, Chester. Everyone else.
Oh, hello. What is that I see?
You see a strange little motionless slimy thing. And you think you might catch a glimpse of a mouth. And we cut to our spots. And we're back, Lullabies of Cthulhu, with our final half hour of the Cracked and Crook'd Manse actual play, live RPG theater. We go back to the game in progress.
No.
So you saw a mouse, is what you're saying?
No. It looks like a mouth.
Yes, a mouse.
Make me a sanity roll, Thomas.
Oh, successful failure.
So, make me an idea roll.
Another failure.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I was successful on the idea.
On the idea roll.
Thoroughly a failure on the sanity roll.
You feel tremendous horror that there is something behind that door that should not be. Please roll me a D4. 2. You lose 2 points of sanity.
My God, there's something there. I don't know what it is. I tell you, I see a mouth. A mouth.
Yes, a mouse. A mouse.
No, a mouth. Lips. Teeth.
Yes, and I'm going to put my shoulder into the door again.
No.
Does anybody want to help him?
No. There is something there.
I'm going to give that door a shove.
All right.
Slimy looking and...
Both of you make strength rolls.
All right, that's a 14.
I'm going to go...
Successful as well.
A 14, successful as well. Okay. So,
So I beat strength times 2.
The door bursts open, and you see suddenly an empty general cellar with wet marks everywhere. Make me a spot hidden as you get in.
99.
99.
Failed by 5.
Failed by 5.
Spike.
You,
Impaled.
You saw it. So, Thomas, did you rush in, or were you cowering in the back.
I'm in the back, but I'm still looking. I mean, how can one turn away from this?
You weren't inside the room. It's a large cellar, so you didn't see this.
I did not realize.
Yes, turn away in horror from the mouse, which has obviously fled.
Yes, normally... not normally, never mind. Yeah, so it's very wet, damp, and mildewy. Much more so, it's incredibly suffocating. You can hardly breathe inside of this room. There's strange plants growing everywhere. The vines from the same vines from the wood cellar, all over here as well.
Wow, this is choking. This the amount of moisture and vegetation in here. I say we make our way around.
You notice, make me a spot hidden, guys, if you're in here.
Success.
So amidst the water damage, you see bales of old magazines and severely rusted tools, old pieces of furniture that looked like they were expensive at one point, all cracked. The bales of magazines crushed in strange, kind of grotesque ways for magazines. But most interestingly, we see bones. Bones of all sizes. Bones that have been crushed and cracked. Scattered around.
Adesh is significantly creeped out. He grabs the nearest rusty wrench, pipe, something with heft that he could wield.
All right, you managed to find it's very rusty. It seems so brittle, it may disintegrate as soon as you hit it with something.
It may.
This will work better. I'm gonna hand him the axe. Draw my revolver again.
Yeah, the axe.
Very good.
Joe says, "My axe." But there's nothing in the cellar except for incredible dampness.
Yes, I'm going to sift through the bones and see if I can identify anything.
Make me a biology roll or a zoology roll.
Am I still out?
Nope.
You can come in if you want. Nope. They are definitely bones, but you don't know of what.
Well, someone obviously. I have nothing actually. This is quite odd.
I know earlier I had mentioned that I would retrieve our luggage and my shotgun from the car.
You should go out and check it out.
I'm going to run out to the car and retrieve my shotgun and some ammunition and come hurriedly back to the cellar.
What, for a mouse?
It is not a mouse, I tell you. I did not see a mouse.
Thomas,
did a mouse do all of that?
Thomas, why are you bringing all your clothes and
stuff to
the cellar?
I'm just going to grab the shotgun and bring it back to the cellar.
Wait, you're going upstairs to get the shotgun?
You're going outside to the vehicle to get the shotgun.
There's no shotgun in your vehicle.
It was with my luggage.
You brought a shotgun.
Well, perhaps we were going to shoot some clay pigeons while we were here.
Oh, okay. All right. If you have a shotgun, awesome. You bring back a shotgun.
Indeed.
Sorry, I was unaware that anybody had any weapons on them.
So,
I'm a sports shooter.
All right.
So yes, you're planning on using the shotgun on the mouse.
I tell you again.
Make me a listen roll, everyone.
Failure.
Also failure.
Nope. Just
Success
barely made it,
equal.
actually.
In the cellar, you hear something kind of creaking above. Maybe even squelching.
Well, perhaps we should bring the wood upstairs.
That is awkward, given that when we walked on that same floor, it did not squeak earlier.
Is there someone else up there?
Maybe it's the acoustics.
Joe says, "I'm right here."
Oh, did you come with anyone else, Joe?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
You're not sure.
You're not sure.
No. I'm saying I didn't.
I see.
Hey, Joe, grab some wood. Let's go.
That's right.
All right.
Grab an armful.
All right.
Let's.
So you guys gonna go through the front door or up through the cellar?
It's suffocatingly damp in the cellar proper, correct?
Yeah,
So I'm going to retreat through the wood
the wood cellar.
and then go in through the front door where it has breathable air.
Joe says, "I'm going to go up through the main cellar door."
As you like, Joe.
All right. So he does. He charges up the steps. They
What a
creak.
fantastic shade of red your shirt is.
Indeed, it is. It is
says-
handsomely adorned.
He says, "Thanks, I guess." He walks up, carrying wood up the cellar steps, and you hear the door creaking open.
Yes, and I'm out front, making my way towards the front door.
You do.
As am I.
I'm following Joe.
And as you're walking up
One of us
the
is
steps to the
following
front door. I'm sorry?
I am actually following Joe.
You're following Joe.
Yeah, I'm still not very interested in walking through any more soggy grass.
All right. So you walk through soggy cellar mud.
Well,
So he's
gotta stick to your guns sometimes.
he's a little bit ahead of you, and as he opens up the door, it suddenly shuts behind him. You're still on the steps. You hear a scream, and logs crashing to the floor.
Ah! Do we all hear this scream?
Oh, you all hear it.
Well, was that Joe?
It sounded like a kind of a country folk guy
I will
yelling.
Where does rush
the
into the
scream
house?
sound like it's
Little
coming from?
twang
In the
to
house?
scream.
You're carrying wood, so you have to drop it.
Of
Well,
course.
I'm not carrying that much wood. I can run awkwardly carrying an arm load.
Make me a Dex ×3 roll.
All right.
I will drop everything but my shotgun and go running forward.
I succeed.
You somehow managed to juggle 4 logs in your hands and open the door while running.
Exactly.
It's quite a feat. Thomas is deeply impressed with you, as is Adesh.
How about Joe?
Joe, well, he's near the kitchen, you think. He cannot see you.
I'm gonna try and follow Joe up, see if I can get that door open, see what
You
happens.
cannot. It is stuck shut. Very, very, very stuck.
Well, I think he's in the kitchen, so I will make my way in that direction.
Yes. So you rush over, and the kitchen door is also stuck. The screams have stopped. Either of you can make me a strength roll.
Strength.
A strength ×3.
I fail.
I failed as well.
Okay. You can't get the door open. It's stuck very shut. And the screams have stopped. They turned into a kind of a gurgling, burbling sound for a little bit. And then you hear what sounds like a splut and nothing.
Well, obviously he's playing some sort of trick on us.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that. I'm ready to be gone from this place.
Make me a listen roll, Thomas.
What? What's that?
You think you hear the wood cellar door shut on its own. Not the hatch, the door to the general cellar.
Adesh fires up the Model T.
Well, Chester shall run out to see what the issue with the Model T is. He has since dropped the logs in the entryway.
Oh, Joe.
I'm going to try the other door.
I'm sorry, yeah, Brandon. Are you still in the cellar?
I am. Yes, still in the cellar. Trying to get in the kitchen.
You make me a spot hidden roll. Okay.
No.
You just begin to notice kind of tentative, what look like pseudopods crawling creeping out from underneath the door of the cellar.
I'm going to get the hell away from that
All right.
and try and get back into the wood cellar.
You can open up the door. It's moist there though. Give me a strength times 5 roll.
Success.
Okay, you manage to kind of splut open the door weirdly, and it shuts behind you again. You feel something slimy kind of crawl over your head though. You do.
And I'm in the wood cellar now.
Now you're in the wood cellar.
Well,
it's damp, but there's nothing slimy
I'm going to crouch and run across the room for the other door outside.
Oh, it's not that far away.
Okay, well,
So
either way,
you
dashing.
climb up the hatch.
Yes.
Right? Okay. You climb up the hatch.
Well, I'm going to climb into the Model T and ask Adash, what are you doing, man?
This is yes. Yeah, I would suggest
Finding better accommodations. Yes.
This is no place to stay. No place to make our. No. I hope that Arthur is well. But my investigations may have come to a close.
Thomas, make me an idea roll.
Nice. An +5 on a 90.
You have a brilliant idea. You put together disparate facts here. The crumpled note you found in the fireplace grate,
Salt.
where it says something is so simple, and you think about the salt everywhere. Salt. Maybe salt can do something against whatever this is.
It's not that much different than a snail with teeth.
Could be. Snail with teeth. If it even has teeth.
But where would I find salt? I'll run to the kitchen. Look in the larder.
Maybe it just has mouth. You run to the kitchen, and you find the door able to be opened very easily into the kitchen now.
Oh, good.
Now, you look to the pantry, and you see metal canisters, flour, coffee, tea, sugar, pepper. That's it.
No salt?
No salt.
Do I hear the Model T outside?
Model T is rumbling, isn't it, Adesh?
Maybe we need to come back with some salt.
Oh,
I'm running outside.
Also, in the kitchen, you notice the logs that Joe was carrying on the floor, very, very wet, but no sign of Joe. The cellar door is shut.
Running towards the car.
Running towards the car.
Unless I can come up with another location that would probably have salt in quantity.
The only place you can think of was the master bedroom had salt, but it was all scattered about.
Then I am running to the car, and maybe we get some salt in the town and come back, or something else.
Yes, the general store.
Yes. Some sundries.
Everyone's agreed with going back to the town?
I'm not staying here.
What's this about salt? Oh, right.
Salt.
Yes.
The salt might be the key.
You know,
Might be the weakness he spoke of.
he emptied the cartridges, and I bet he replaced them with salt. Salt pellet cartridges.
Weren't they already empty?
Yes, you remember the cartridges were in fact empty. Mm-hmm. If he was going to do that, he had not gotten around to it yet.
Well, perhaps they have salt rock cartridges at the general store in town.
Or maybe back up in his bedroom.
For the salt rock shotguns.
He's already prepped it. He's got the salt up there.
Well, if you'll remember, all of the entrances to that bedroom were sealed with salt, except for the fireplace, and that is where we saw the moisture. That is where we saw the line of moisture.
The line of ingress.
Yes. He couldn't have sealed the fireplace with salt.
Eureka.
That seems to be reasonable.
Well, let us make haste back to town.
Do you guys drive to town? You drive to town. The town is rather quiet, since by the time you get back there, it's about 8:30.
Well, then let us to the Commons House, and we will take up residence there this night. And come tomorrow, we will return to our investigations with salt.
You
and
go to
daylight.
You go to the boarding house, and who is running that?
But I ask, should we discuss this with the sheriff or even Mr. Dodge? It would appear
Make
that
me an idea roll.
he's gone.
The sheriff, will he believe us that a giant snail is responsible for the disappearance of
We don't
Arthur
have to
Quantz?
tell him that. We can just say something is unusual.
You think talking to the Dodge brothers, maybe they have some more idea of what the mental state of Arthur Cornthwaite was before he disappeared. That could lead to clues.
What is there light on in their
Yeah, the light's on. They're kind of night owls.
in their accounting building?
Yes. At the boarding house, Hank and Edith Haggerty, the proprietors, say they do have a room ready for you, with food, no alcohol, or of course, as they say.
Well, of course not. Not in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
I slur.
But they, Hank and Edith make plain that once you come in tonight, you're in for the night. You're not going to leave again.
Oh, for the evening.
For the evening.
Do you have difficulties with that around here?
They just prefer to get a good night's sleep themselves. They don't want their boarding house creaking
Well,
at night.
I am quite in agreement with that. I would prefer, once I crawl into my own bed, that no one disturbs me in the night.
They think that's a great idea. But they said if you want to go see the Dodges, you better go now.
Well,
then let's race to the Dodges.
yes, let's shall.
All right. Walter Dodge answers the door and says, "Well, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at the mansion?"
We were.
Yes, we have further questions regarding Arthur Cornthwaite's mental state when he
Wow.
last spoke to you.
What do you mean his mental state? He was troubled, but coherent.
Well, did he mention salt?
Make me a fast talk roll.
Can someone else make him a fast talk roll?
The house was in some state of disrepair, or is, I should say, in some great state of disrepair at this point in time.
Not helping your fast talk roll to mention that, by the way.
Listen,
So, just tell me, did he mention salt?
his pantry is barren of salt. There are all the other seasonings. Perhaps he placed an order from out of town.
Listen, he was unbalanced, we think. He asked for a dump truck of salt to be sent over to his house.
Was it delivered?
We delayed for as long as possible since it was a ludicrous request, but
Was he
we
planning
still
on...
have the order in. We could have it sent tomorrow in the morning.
Yes.
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
If a man is willing to pay for a dump truck full of salt, you give him a dump truck full of salt.
Very well. We'll deliver the salt tomorrow.
First thing.
Right, by 7 a.m.
Bright and early.
Excellent.
I'm going to go to sleep
I'm
now.
going to bed, you fools. Mr. Dodge says. And you all go to sleep.
Yes.
Indeed.
You wake up early.
Yes, ask for an early morning wake-up call.
5 a.m.
Yes.
And you drive out in Adash Trender's Model T out to the Fitzgerald Mansion. Is that all right, Adash?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Right. And when you arrive there, there's a dump truck full of salt. It's 7 a.m. What did you roll for?
Fantastic.
I rolled my drive and did not wreck on the way there.
Great.
Yes.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you for being diligent about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dump truck full of salt. The guy who drove the dump truck is standing there, seemingly waiting for instructions on where to put it. In fact, he says, "You guys order this salt?"
Yes, Mr. Cornthwaite ordered that salt.
Yes, we are here as executors of his order of salt.
All right, well, Dodge Brothers told me to bring it, where do you want me to put it?
Into the cellar.
The majority, or at least half of it, must go into the cellar.
Yes, let me open up
Then
this
some
wood.
of it is going to go into the garden.
let me open up this wood cellar for you and just dump it. Feel free to dump whatever you can in there.
Into the cellar?
Into the cellar.
Into the cellar.
You sure?
Yes, and wheelbarrows of it going through the kitchen into the cellar through that entrance as well. This is Mr. Cornthwaite's instructions.
Indeed.
All right. Well, all right. Sounds good. Make me an idea roll.
Success.
Oh, massively nailed.
Tremendously.
Very much so.
You know that the door between the wood cellar and the general cellar is pretty strong. The salt might just stay in the wood cellar.
All right. We have an axe with us, don't we?
Yes, we do. We still have this wood axe.
It is a wooden door.
Perhaps we should
start by taking these
to Brandon.
Start by taking the salt through the house and pour it down into the cellar through the kitchen cellar door.
I'll take care of that cellar door.
You remember that's also stuck pretty shut.
Oh, yes. Well, let me take a shovel full of salt while Brendan takes the axe down to the wood cellar.
All right. Give me a strength ×5 roll. Or an actual if you have it.
No axe.
Okay.
Easy on the strength.
Okay. You start hacking away at it, and within minutes, the door begins to crumple and shatter apart, and you see little pseudopods reaching out.
All right, I'm going to throw my shovel full of salt.
It recoils
onto the pseudopods, and then run back out and start shouting for the salt to be poured in.
The door looks pretty weak. Okay.
Once Brendan is also out.
I'm stepping back and away.
The truck backs up and pours down salt. And you begin to hear burbling and gurgling and then thrashing about from the cellar. Something it's almost like a burning sound, and it begins to smell horrible. It smells worse than death. Tremendously bad.
Well, I think it's time to take some wheelbarrows through the kitchen entry and dump them down into the cellar.
Yes, indeed.
You hear...
I believe the mouse is now having a difficult time of it.
You hear the wood of the door crack open, the cellar door, and the salt easily gets all poured into there. The entire house begins to shake and tremble.
I'm going to run out of the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to join you in
that.
Exit stage left.
And so you hear this creature even begin to make a groaning sound. It thrashes about, and suddenly you see the plaster molding shake off the front, and gigantic cracks begin to go up the length of the house to the ceiling. The house begins to explode, and flying debris gets cast out all around as you see large tentacles thrash out of windows and out across the roof, slicing it. Everyone make me a dodge roll.
Model T firing up. I dodge with style.
Okay.
I fail my dodge roll.
I fail my dodge roll.
Anybody who fails takes 1d8 debris damage as house just comes at you.
1d8. 4. Ouch.
All right.
The Model T is fired up. Honking the horn.
The house collapses in a humongous sound, and you see fizz coming out from underneath. The creature looks to be dead.
I will pile into the Model T in case it does a last deathly thrash.
And we have to say goodnight. You guys beat it. Thanks, guys, for playing. This is DJ Huge Problem for Lullabies for Cthulhu.
This is DJ Nezmi, and I was playing Chester Wallace.
Guys.
Stephen Bohannon is Adesh Charindra.
Joseph Pinkerton and Brandon Sullivan.
Rego, the master of random, useless trivia.